So most people think about their hands as an asset, their minds as an asset, but never really think about their voice as an asset. When you think about the billions of dollars that are made through the entertainment business, acting, public speaking, even podcasting, we know a top podcaster who makes $9.8 million every single month because of their voice. Well, today we're going to tell you how to protect your voice as an asset. Let's get it. Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video.
Pay attention and listen, we about to teach class. Inside the vault, my man Ash Cash. So get your man right. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. You see him, you change your life. Millionaire mindset, the best on earth. Blueprint, the wealth, the knowledge network. So get it while you can, and he's standing right here. Just come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Come inside the vault and see black millionaires. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.
All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet, when we are helping you create the mindset to live in abundance spiritually, practically, all of the above. I'm excited about this interview that we have today because a lot of people do not give credit to the sound and the voice and how that is the key to building wealth. I remember being in a situation where, I was, speaking, right? As a public speaker, I get 25,000 or more for a keynote. And I remember being on stage and, doing a call and response. And there was a moment in which my voice went out. And now I'm forcing myself. It's hurting me, but I have to finish the gig. And I wish I had this young lady in my life prior to, but now she is here with us, the insider. She's going to give us the game on how to protect and make sure that this asset, that is your voice, is protected at the highest level. We have celebrity vocal coach, Miss Ashaala Shanea.
Hey.
How are you, my dear? How's everything?
I'm so good. I'm good to be here.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited because I've never really thought of my voice being an asset, even though when I think about, my days in corporate America, as a banking executive, it was my ability to have conversations, with clients. It was my ability to have conversations with my sales team and motivate them. That allowed me to rise in the ranks. As an entrepreneur, my voice has allowed me to be on some big stages. It allowed me to really, motivate people into action and really move them. And whether it's as an author, written 12 books and my audio books, like all of that stuff. I never really thought about protecting the voice. But you are a celebrity vocal coach.
Yeah, schmancy, fancy. You just said something. Can we just get right into it?
Yes, ma'am.
You said something really interesting in your, you were just introducing yourself from corporate America. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have voice insurance?
I don't. And there's a such thing, because I didn't even know there was a such thing as voice insurance.
There is such thing as voice insurance.
Like I can insure my voice.
Absolutely. Isn't it your asset? Isn't it your moneymaker? J-Lo insured her butt, right? Tina Turner insured her legs, right? Every athlete out there insures their hands, their body parts. Shoot, we even had one a soccer player that insured his face.
Wow.
Right? So at the end of the day, you're a vocal athlete.
Wow.
You are a vocal athlete, and every day you get up, you put your voice at risk.
Yeah.
And there's no contingency plan.
Yeah.
Right? So what if one day you were to get up and no longer had a voice? You can definitely have, your podcast and your videos, but you just said you make $25K just to speak.
Yeah.
And as we know, amateurs make money on the front end, but experts make money on the back end. So anybody of your caliber should have voice insurance.
Wow.
It's a given. As a matter of fact, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How do you get voice insurance? You just go, how does that work?
So my team actually does that. I remember Neo Davis. We both know Neo as one of my clients. And so at his mastermind, he had no voice. He had no voice. And I remember him saying to me, Shayla, what do I do? He was freaking out. And so I said, Neo, I offer voice insurance. Right. And so my company actually does that for my high profile speak. And not just high profile, anybody can get it. Yeah. But especially for those people where your voice it's like see your voice as like a voice NFT. Right? Yeah. Your voice, as a matter of fact, you can close your eyes right now. Everybody can close their eyes and you can say, hey, this is Ash Cash. Yeah. Your voice has a sound, a configuration that makes it special. Yeah. So at the end of the day, my company, I decided, you know what? Wait, no one's out here, besides Lloyd's of London, no one's out here really giving voice insurance. And so my company now provides that.
And how does that work though, right? Because look, this supposed to be an interview, but y'all are not going to learn. But I'm going to need to know, right?
Yeah.
So like with car insurance, if somebody hits your car or does anything to your car, the insurance company makes you whole. Yeah. Right? Life insurance, you die, makes your family whole. Yeah. Travel insurance, you go to travel, but how does voice insurance, if somebody, loses their voice, how does voice insurance make them whole?
So can we math it?
Let's do it.
And so voice insurance would really be under disability or body part insurance, right? So what we would do is configure how much money, what's the risk? When you show up to an event or you do a mastermind, how much money would you be making on the front end? So let's math it for a second, okay? You do a one-day event, right? How many people would you expect to come to your one-day event?
So let's say if I do a one-day event, let's say 100 people.
100 people. What's the ticket to get in?
So really depends on the crowd. If it's a high ticket, high ticket, like 2,000 potentially.
Okay, so 2,000. So let's just say you had about 20 to 30% of that, right? Bought a 2,000. That's 200,000 right there, right? Yeah. And then let's say on the low end, a low ticket is what?
About $100.
$100. Yeah. So that's another, let's math that. So 100 times 100, that's another $10,000 right there, right? Yeah. So you're looking at 210,000, right? But we understand the back end as well. So you have a what? What's your...
high ticket, 25,000.
25,000. You want to convert what, 10 to 20%? Yeah. So let's say we had about maybe 10 to 15 people get that 25, right? You're looking at another 250, another $250,000. All right. So what we would do with that is say, what's the potential of Ash to do a one-day event, right? Where he comes, he makes money on the front end. That's 200,000 right there, 300,000 right there. Plus on the back end, he's making another 250, 300,000. You're looking at almost $1 million right there. Yeah. We would say, okay, based on the fact that he actually can lose $1 million. Because what if one day you woke up, you were in, I don't know, Puerto Rico doing your mastermind and you end up getting mold toxicity. And most people never think about that. They only think about losing their voice when they're speaking. Yeah. But literally, you could be right here in this room right now, and there could be mold toxicity, and you don't even know it.
And that
you would absolutely lose your voice. There's something called mold poisoning. 73% of Americans actually deal with it.
73%.
73%. And so because of that, you wake up one day, you don't have your voice, and you have to show up to 100 people that spent $5,000 or $2,000 to come and see you.
Yeah. Wow.
And so what we do with the insurance is we say, what is the potential? $500,000, almost 75, $750,000. And that's how we start to determine and quantitate what we would put as far as your voice insurance.
Wow.
For you.
Wow. And so talk to us about Ashaala. Like how did you get into voice coaching and
It's crazy. I got into voice coaching because I lost my voice. I graduated from college, couldn't find a job, ended up becoming a substitute teacher. And at the time I was touring in the music industry. And I ended up
Were you a singer?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up developing something called vocal nodules. So vocal nodules are like callus, like when you work out without gloves, you get callus on your hands.
Yeah.
So callus started to form on my vocal cords.
Wow.
And so when your vocal cords start to meet and come together, it can't meet. So when you hear people sound raspy or hoarse, that's what was happening to me. And as a result of that, I ended up losing my voice for 6.5 weeks.
Wow.
I could not speak, could not sing, could not do anything. That was my bread and butter.
Wow.
It took me into a place of depression.
Wow.
I had severe vocal anxiety as a result of it because I didn't know if my voice would show up.
Yeah.
And there's so many out here that are don't know if their voice is going to show up for their podcast, don't know if their voice is going to show up for their next speaking engagement. And so I went to the doctor, the ear, nose, and throat doctor. At that time as a substitute teacher, I didn't have no insurance. I was barely making it, $100 a week.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, I was like, sir, I don't have money to take nodules off my cords. And I don't know if anybody knows how vocal nodules are take off your cords, but you can get vocal nodules from anything, from poor eating, from overuse, from yelling, screaming, smoking, alcohol. I mean, there's a lot of reasons you can get that. Yeah. They actually cut it off or they scrape it or they laser it off. Wow. And so as a result of that, I didn't have the money. So I took my degree, University of Miami, shout out to the U. Took my degree and learned holistic ways of healing my voice. And so I became the solution to the problem that I had and the need that I have. And that's how I really got started. And so I started touring as a result of that. And so many artists would come to me asking me, yo, Shayla, can you help me? My voice, something's wrong with it. I'm on tour. I can't, I have no voice. And so I literally became the go-to person.
Wow.
And as a result of that, speakers started coming to me as well. And the rest is history. I developed my company called the Music and Arts Healing Institute when I realized, I'm onto something here, right? And was able to start my company with $500 and now has scaled it to multiple six figures.
Wow. And so you've coached, Grammy Award-winning soul icon Betty Wright, Yolanda Adams, Erica Campbell, Patti LaBelle, John Cicada, Tank, you have, Neo, shout out to Neo, and all these folks. And, what is sort of like so I think first and foremost, I think it's intriguing to how you started a business based on something that, you needed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, most of us that end up becoming entrepreneurs really become entrepreneurs based on a need that we had that wasn't being met.
Yeah.
And so we create our own irresistible offer.
Yeah.
And so for me, the irresistible offer was, I don't have the money.
Right.
So what am I going to do?
Right.
And at the end of the day, I was able to provide my own payoff.
Yeah.
Right. And now I provide so many other people that use their voice, podcasters, radio personalities, sports commentators, singers, anyone people that do audiobooks, anyone that uses their voice for monetization or just purpose advancement.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, think about it. If you were to go to if we were all talking right now, right? Everybody that's on your set, we're all talking, all you're going to hear is voices. And we never think of it as an asset. We never think about it as an invaluable asset. I always tell people that there are three things that are always going to be invaluable assets: your mind, your voice, and people's attention.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about, that ability to build something that doesn't necessarily exist. Like, was it easy for you to do that?
No.
You said Lloyd's of London, which is huge, and right, like this is a behemoth type of business.
Absolutely.
And so you're like rumbling with the biggest of them all. Talk about that. Talk about that mindset that allows you to start something that is so niche that I'm sure if you told somebody about this idea, they'll be like, you bugging.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I probably wouldn't be bugging is because I'm trusted.
Yeah.
I'm an expert in my industry.
Yeah.
So because I'm an expert in my industry, I'm not just going to tell you, yo, get voice insurance. I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
Right? This is the reason why. And lots of times, most people, I don't go looking for people. People come looking for me. So when my high profile clients or anyone that comes looking for my expertise and my services say, hey, how do I preserve my voice? Or I have something coming up. I had another speaker, a well-known speaker that was like, I have hiccups, uncontrollable hiccups.
Yeah.
And they literally getting paid $30,000 to go on stage 5 minutes before going on stage.
Wow.
The hiccups wouldn't stop.
Wow.
And people don't think about things like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so this speaker, I won't call the person's name, but this speaker literally called me 5 minutes before going on stage, bugging out.
Wow.
And I don't think people understand that trust is a big thing.
Yeah.
So I think for me, the reason why I can be able to say, hey, listen, Ash, you need to go get vocal insurance is because 1, I'm knowledgeable in my industry.
Yeah.
2, I'm trusted.
Yeah.
Right. And not only that, I'm credible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and I think when you have those things, your listeners listen to you because you're credible.
Yeah.
They listen to you because you're trustworthy.
Yeah.
And they listen to you because you know what you're saying. You got books, you have other things, and you've proven it.
Yeah.
And I think that is really, yes, Lloyd's of London is definitely, you know, that, but I'm looking more of the integrity and the trustworthiness of the people that I serve.
If you are an entrepreneur, business coach, or small business owner who wants to get more visibility for your product or service, then consider advertising on Inside the Vault. We have been seen and heard over 2 million times, and as the show continues to grow, your ad would be embedded in our episodes forever. So the return on investments on advertising with us is unmeasurable and invaluable. If you're interested in this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, then text podcast to 646-687-4152 or email us at info@insidethevaultshow.com. Allow your business to get the visibility that it deserves.
But when you first, because that's now, though,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
But talk to me, like when you first started, when you were like, I'm gonna do this business without necessarily having the receipts, as you know, we would say. What gives you that confidence, right? Like, what makes you say, you know what? I'm gonna start a business. Like, what, were you doing something else before then? Take me to that beginning journey.
So it's interesting because I was working, I took a break from the industry and I was working in a nonprofit world.
Yeah.
And I remember I was overseeing a $500,000 budget for the city of Miami. I was running their 501c3 for the whole city of Miami. And I was like, yo, I don't really want to do this, but I'm here. And I remember they brought me in the office and they said to me, we got to let you go. And I was like, why? Well, we don't have the money in the budget, but I'm over the budget. Like, I can see everything. And I got laid off. I got laid off. I only had $500 to my name.
Wow.
I had no health insurance.
Yeah.
I had no 401k. I had none of those things. I remember taking $395, Ash. I begged a gentleman down the street from my house. I said, listen, I only have $500 to my name. Can I just borrow a little closet cubicle?
Wow.
I just want to start I got to do something because I don't ever want to be in a position where someone else determines how I eat.
Yeah.
Right? I said that would be the last time that ever happened. And it was risky. It was very scary. $395 he gave me as rent. I remember that was when MySpace was out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I took my little flip phone and I started taking pictures and saying, hey, I got 4 chairs from Costco. I flip them out. I had a little Casio piano. I said, yo, my business is open. That's how I started.
Wow.
I lost a lot of money along the way, but then mentorship.
Yeah.
And I need to talk about mentorship because it wasn't until I really understood, wait a minute, in order for me to get a return on it, I have to seed what I need.
Yeah.
And so at that time, the school of hard knocks for me, I didn't have mentors at the time to show me what it was to run a business. I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
But when I started to get into mentorship and talk about Betty Wright, Betty Wright was one of the first mentors to take me up under her wings.
Yeah.
I toured with her for 17 years until the day she died.
Wow.
And until the day she died. And she taught me so much about the industry because she was the first Black woman to ever become a millionaire and turn gold with her own independent record label in Miami. Right? She was the queen of Miami Soul, and she was more than just a singer. You know, you had the Diddy's and the Khaled's and all of them looking up to her, but she was a businesswoman, and she taught me so much about business. So having the Yolanda Adams in my life, you know, and then of course meeting people like a Neo Davis, meeting people like a Coach Kelly J, that's what really got it to where it is now. But a lot of it was really, honestly, School of Hard Knocks. And I will not tell any entrepreneur out here that it's all gravy and strawberries and cream. No, you're going to have to learn. You're going to have to learn what it is to invest right. You're going to have to learn what it is to money right. You're going to have to learn what it is to have strategies. Learn what it is to have succession plans. Learn what it is to budget. Learn what it is to go without until you can. There was many times where I didn't pay myself. I paid my staff, but I did not pay myself.
Wow. Yeah. No, I love it. And I just wanted to kind of like say that because you know, I feel like that, you know, someone watching right now, one of our insiders are watching right now, and they are in a position where they have an idea. The idea might not be sexy, right? It might not be something that everybody's doing. But what is that thing that's gonna you know, have them take that next step? You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I think that it's a blessing, you know, for you to be in this space because, you know, I mean, the truth be told, there's millions of people that need your services. Like this is a, you know, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business that, you know, is, you know, as the word continues to get out there, you know, I already see your business and flourishing, you know,
Thank you.
Beyond, right? Because, you know, again, you know, you perish from what you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
Lack of knowledge, right?
Lack of knowledge.
And so, you know, me as a speaker, there's just so much that I didn't know. Like, and it's crazy because it almost seems obvious. Like, you get this much, like, protect your voice, right? And so, you know, what are some bad habits, right? That speakers do that are like harming their voice?
Absolutely. Well, first thing, and I'll just ask you because you're a speaker here. When you get up in the morning, do you warm up your voice?
I don't.
All right. So if you were to go on the basketball court, would you stretch first?
Absolutely.
So then, this is the court. This is the court. And I think one of the biggest things, misnomers, especially with speakers, I would say is they don't warm their voice up at all. There is no daily regimen. And I always say things like, you know, Kobe had a coach. Jordan had a coach. You know what I mean? All the greats had coach. They had coaches. So if you're a vocal athlete, how come you don't have one? And I always say you always want to make sure that you have your money voice 5. This is your money voice. This is this is real estate. And so not warming up and not cooling down the voice. That is something especially that I taught to Neo. So now I have him warming up every single time he does something. And I teach him, you know, certain regimens and things to do. Another one is you got to lessen the alcohol consumption. And the reason that is because alcohol is dehydrating and it produces acid reflux. So as a result of that, when you're sleeping at night, the acid is coming up from your stomach, it's going up your esophagus, and it's burning away and eating away at your throat. And so when you wake up, you have a sore throat and you're like, yo, why is my voice gone, right? It's because of the fact that you're consuming so much alcohol. Another thing too is making, you know, not eating right. Right? You sound like what you eat.
Word.
You sound like what you eat. And I think a lot of times people don't understand that whatever you put into your body, whatever you put in will either make money for you or lose money for you. Whatever comes out will either make money for you or lose money for you. So things like high acid foods, right? The citrus fruits, the sodas, the sports drinks, right? The sugary foods, or even when it comes to mucus enhancing foods, right? It's not just dairy, right? It's things like the white processed foods and stuff like that literally rises histamine in your body, and that leads to infection and inflammation. So lots of times when you have a post-nasal drip and you don't know, why do I keep clearing my throat every time I'm doing an episode? Or, you know, why do I always feel like I'm always congested or there's mucus? It's because one, you could be dehydrated because of not, you know, just drinking lots of like sugary stuff. But two, you could be dealing with acid reflux. And then another bad habit is not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
How much water do you drink daily?
Oh, I drink a lot of water.
Yeah, we should be drinking at least half a body weight in fluid ounces, right? And then, of course, not learning proper vocal utilization, like really getting with somebody to learn, how do I actually breathe correctly? Like, how do I take pauses and cadences where I'm not just going, or when you get on the stage, you're like, yo, when you just start going one time on your voice, I have to teach my speakers, listen, don't just go from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's not a good habit at all. There's a plethora of them, medications. The sad news is the sad reality is we have a lot of talented people that are dealing with mental and emotional health issues. Yeah. And one of the biggest things that I realized is that vocal health is definitely correlates with mental health. Believe it or not, when you are dealing with anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and you don't take care of your mental health, and that's one thing I see us as entrepreneurs and especially minorities, and we don't take care of our mental health. And especially with the pandemic that is skyrocketed in mental health, what happens is when you're dealing with that anxiety, when you're dealing with panic attacks and stuff like that, or depression, it actually does something to your voice box. And it creates a medical disorder called muscle tension dysphonia. It's a fancy word. Dysphonia just simply means hoarseness. It's hoarseness because of muscle tension, because of things like stress. Wow. And our stress levels are skyrocketing. Yeah. We don't know how to deal with anxiety. We have perfectly hidden depression, high functioning anxiety. And as entrepreneurs, we deal with anxiety. 100%, yeah. So because of that, those are just some of the things that we have to, be able to take care of ourselves. Watch the things that we're doing as negative coping mechanisms.
Yeah. And you talked about like, waking up your voice, right? So when I wake up in the morning, I was always told, I don't do it religiously, but I was always told that the first thing that you should put in your body is like warm water, right? And lemon, right? Is that the way to wake up the voice? Is that the right way to go about it?
Well, sorry to bust everybody's bubble, but when you drink water in the morning, it doesn't touch your vocal cords at all. All right? And that's a big misconception. Yeah. So one of the things I do to teach people, and this is the reason why I love what I'm doing, and if I could just pause for a second and go back when you asked me, what is it? I am living in purpose. Yeah. I realize that I get up every day and God has allowed me the opportunity to tell people how to preserve their asset, their voice asset, to make money for them. Yeah. Sometimes the voice is the only thing somebody has. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I'm living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. Everybody's born with purpose, but we're not living with purpose, in purpose, on purpose. And so my reason for being, my why and why I do this and I go hard, that even if I never got a dime from it, I'll still do it. Yeah. Is because I understand my calling. Yeah. I understand my purpose. I understand my passion. So I just wanted to go back there because that's what's kept me when I didn't have no clients coming in. And that's what's keeping me when I have a fluctuation of clients coming in. Wow. Right? But to go back just to answer your question, I think it's just so important that we understand like your warm-ups. Like I want to teach you some warm-ups. Yes. You want to do some warm-ups with me?
Let's do it.
Well, that's the first thing we're not going to do. We're not going to clear the throat like that. Okay. So normally when you're clearing the throat, it's because there's mucus on the throat. Yeah. So you want to drink some water. It's just only going to clear the throat, not the vocal folds. All right? Because it's two different areas. And so I educate people about anatomy first.
So don't clear the throat. No,
just drink some water. Yeah. Or if you do something just like a light little breathy. Everybody's going to be conscientious of it now, right? But a light little breathiness, because I tell people all the time, like, they say. Yeah. I tell people, when you find who they are, tell them to meet me outside so we can throw some hands. Because cash me outside because they lie. Right. So at the end of the day, you drinking the warm water and the lemon is cool, but it's not going to do anything for the vocal cords. It's just going to soothe your throat. Right? So for you, a warm-up that you can do, right? You could get a bottle of water. Yeah. You can get a straw, right? And you can fill the bottle of water halfway. And all you're going to do is you can sing your ABCs. You don't have to be on key. All right. You could just go, right. And make sure the bubbles are actually forming in the water. What that does is it actually strengthens your vocal cords.
So I'm pause. I'm blowing the blowing the
so you
air
get
inside of
you just singing in the straw, but your own way. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Your own way. Or you can even do it like with a Z. You could just go zzz. Try that. Go. Keep going. Yeah. Hey. Right now close the mouth in a little bit and just go right, and you could do the same thing. And you could also do what we call just sirens, going up with your voice. It's starting from the lowest part of your voice and just going and just go all the way and come back down. Right. So you're going to breathe through your nostril, and I want you to do that. Do it in the shower. You know why? Because steam actually goes directly onto your voice box and it lubricates your voice box. So it causes your vocal cords to stretch. So just like a muscle that you would do for anything on the court, you need to stretch your muscles. So in order for you to really get the inflections that you want for your voice to be Ash Cash, so people can understand how you resound your voice, it has to stretch, right? And then some other things you can do, like you could do the same thing of the ABCs, right? And it may seem like silly, but it goes a long way. Why? Because that air circulates back into your throat. It meets the air coming up from your lungs, and it causes a cushioning called subglottal pressure. I don't want to get too nerdy on you. All right. Yeah. And because of that, it starts to relax the muscles. So imagine if you didn't get any sleep.
Yeah.
Imagine if you stressed out. Imagine you didn't drink a lot of water, and then you started to just emotionally eat. And then on top of that, you're dealing with anxiety to the woozah. And so you go ahead and you take some alcohol to relax. But on top of that, you go and you take sedatives and a sleeping pill, and then you're wondering why your voice ain't showing up. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you do these things for your voice. And the average speaker never thinks about it. So every time, and you're going hard with podcasts. So every time you're doing podcasts, you have to be able to warm up.
Right.
And after every podcast, including this one, I'm going to make sure you cool down your voice.
Wow.
Okay.
That's like a whole process.
I know.
Yeah. And it's funny because I mean, it's to the point where after every speaking engagement, I can feel, the tiredness in my vocals. And I just, I get this tea. I drink tea. That I was told, is
throat coat?
Yeah, throat coat. That's what it is. Yeah.
So what is it called?
Throat coat.
Is it called vocal cord coat?
It's not. No,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's throat coat.
Yeah.
It coats the throat. Yeah. Right? So with the vocal cords, though, you can't see it with the natural eye. You would literally have to go to a doctor to put something down your nostril all the way down or your mouth to see it with a camera, right? So the thing that allows us to survive every day called the epiglottis, when you swallow that water, that tea, the epiglottis pushes it away from your voice box, which is literally where your trachea is, your windpipe for your lungs, and it takes it to the stomach. So it never touches the vocal cords at all.
And that's crazy because I know this is probably somebody wants to know this question.
Yeah.
And so it's not a stupid question. I'm just going to preface it that. But so the throat and the vocal cord is two different things. They don't live in the same house.
So the throat muscle is called the pharynx, P-H-A-R-Y-N-X. The voice box is called the larynx, L-A-R-Y-N-X. So the voice box is housed in the throat, but there's something that separates it called the epiglottis, that every time you swallow your spit or your saliva or, tea or food, the vocal cords are the door to your lungs by way of the trachea. So the only thing that gets in there is air.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, you can't even speak without air.
Wow.
So try to breathe in and say your name at the same time. Everybody try it.
Yeah.
Try to breathe in. You can't do it. You can't do it. But put your hand like this and say your name. What do you feel?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how you were created. You were created where your voice, you cannot speak or sing or do anything without air. Right. It's so dope.
Right.
Exactly.
Everybody try it, right?
Try to breathe in and say your name. You can't.
Wow.
You can't.
Wow.
And that's the myth that I have to correct.
Yeah.
Is that people think, well, I'm just drinking this tea, I'm doing this lemon, I'm doing this honey. But it's not doing anything for you. That's a psychological myth. You see what I'm saying? Wow. So at the end of the day, no, rest, hydration, and just being quiet, and then learning proper ways to breathe and support your voice, and learning education about your voice. That's what's going to keep you healthy.
Wow.
And warming up.
Hey, yo, if your mind ain't blown right now, because honestly, like now, I mean, you can't unhear this, right? Now when you think about even my 9-to-5ers, like you don't even have to be an entrepreneur, right? Think about if you like where you work. If you work, with only computers and you ain't got to talk to somebody, then fine, don't worry about it, right? But majority of people work in a space where they have to communicate, they have to talk. If you're a manager, you have to talk. Like it's so. Wow, this is great. And so talk to me about how can somebody, right? Like there's so many ways to make money, right?
Absolutely.
As a vocal coach, how can somebody make 6 figures with their voice?
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting. Everybody that you've interviewed have made 6 figures with their voice.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So being a sports commentator, podcaster, YouTuber, audiobooks, right? Jingles, commercials, all right? People that are out there and they're literally using their voice. As a matter of fact, there are people that actually use their voice for others for voice. I don't know if you know vocoders. I don't know if you know what that is, but there are literal so many ways. The main ones for us, especially in the digital space, is podcasting, YouTubing, audiobooks, commercials, jingles, actually doing video voiceovers. That's a big thing right now. Commercials for any kind of products, merchandise, anything like that are definitely ways that people are using now their voice to create a 6-figure digital asset. And so what I do is I teach singers and speakers to go beyond just this. And of course, public speaking, right? Masterminds, IG lives. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, like it's limitless of how you, and then of course, understanding monetization, right? And how to do that. Because it's one thing to say, oh, I'm gonna start a podcast, but it ain't just starting a podcast. You still have to learn how to monetize on that. And I think the biggest, you know what the moneymaker is? Trust. Have you ever trusted somebody you've never spoken to?
Wow.
And the reason is because the human voice carries inflections and tones that literally sways how consumers buy.
Wow.
So people, when you see people that are spokespersons in commercials or television shows and stuff like that, they know why they put them there, not just because of their celebrity status or anything like that, but their voice also does something from a psychological standpoint to build trust.
Wow, that's powerful. And so, man, like I need all the help, right? because I'm telling you, like I've always known that as I speak, like even when I do podcasts, I know because I'm going to be interviewing so many people that I'm just like, all right, after I'm done, I'm gonna relax the voice. But you wrote an ebook called The Vocal Blueprint, right? And then you're sharing 7 voice care secrets every speaker singer should know to secure the bag. What exactly are the 7 voice care secrets?
You want me to give you all of them?
Give me some. Yeah, don't give me all. Give me some.
All right. Well, the first thing first, you have to know the hard facts.
Yeah.
And the hard facts is one. I'll share a couple hard facts for you. Do you know the color of healthy vocal cords? They're white. And a lot of people think they're pink, right? But they're white, and the reason is because your vocal cords have no blood, they barely have blood supply, which means that they don't feel pain. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
They have no nerve endings. So one of the first secrets is you have to learn the hard facts about your voice, right? For example, I'm not going to go and invest 20, 30K into you if I don't know anything about you.
Right.
I'm going to go and learn the facts about Ash Cash because if I'm going to put my investment in that, and so it's the same thing. People don't pay attention if they don't pay for anything, right?
Yeah.
So because of that, you have to know the facts about your voice, including how it works, what causes it to work, and what can damage it. And so that's one of the secrets that I teach is learning the hard facts. So I teach you, a little nerdy stuff, but it's good nerdy stuff because it's the things that you don't know that will harm you. Other thing is eliminate the bad habits. You know what I mean? We're not sleeping enough. We're sleep deprived. And so study actually shows that the average human adult needs a minimum of 7 hours and 13 minutes a day in order to function properly. Anything under that, the brain actually calculates it as someone under DY. And so because of that, we're finding more studies where people are sleep deprived. And as a result of that, their vocal cords are actually being affected because of it. So you're going all day, but you only had 4 hours of sleep and you're wondering why your voice is going. Ain't no drink that's going to help that.
Right.
There's no tea that's going to help that.
Right.
You got to go rest. I remember for Neil's mastermind, Neil, how many hours did you sleep? 4 hours? No. He had to leave, and his actual prescription for the day was go and sleep.
Wow.
Go and sleep.
Yeah.
Because millions of dollars was on the line.
Right.
Right? You need to have a contingency plan, voice insurance.
Yeah.
All right? That's another secret that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You have to have a money voice 5. So not just having a vocal health coach, that's one, but you need a therapist. All right? Because the voice, the soul, they're all connected. Body, mind, soul, spirit, they're all connected. You need to have an ear, nose, and throat doctor. So for you, I would definitely say find an ENT in the local area and make sure that at least 2 or 3 times a year, like how you go to the dentist, you need to go and see an ear, nose, and throat doctor. All right? Another thing too is mindset over skill set. Because there's a lot of people that are talented and gifted, but right now they don't even believe that their voice. Some people cringe to hear themselves back.
Right.
You know, and so I teach on mindset versus skill set first, because if you don't believe that your voice is enough, no one else is going to believe it as well. Another secret that I actually teach about is you have to unlock and eliminate the diction dilemma. Not because we speak English means we have proper good diction, you know? And a lot of us, like I know I'm West Indian, you're West Indian, you know, speak another language, I speak broken English, right? So lots of times we don't realize that diction actually affects even intonation, right? So things like that I teach my speakers. Microphone etiquette, right? Especially when speakers get on stage and they're doing mastermind and you have a lapel mic, but the lapel mic is poor quality, right? And then you screaming over it and you're wondering why your voice is gone. So I teach you about how to choose the correct mic for your voice and how to choose the correct mic for your voice frequency. All right. I teach that as well. And so there's a plethora of secrets there that I have in my vocal blueprint.
Yeah, I need that. Y'all need that. Y'all gotta pick that up, you know, ASAP. And I think one of the ahas that I've had so far is diet.
Yes.
You know, you talked about, you know, I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but just some of the other, you know, things that you may eat that, you know, affect your voice, right? And so, because even just now, you know, you mentioned, you know, when I cleared my throat, you were like, hey, you cleared your throat because there's mucus in there, right? And then when I think about why there's mucus based on my diet. I might be eating things that are creating mucus, and then inflammation. Like, how does inflammation affect the voice?
Absolutely. Great question. So remember I said you sound like what you eat.
Yeah.
Right? So
what do I eat? Oh. No,
okay. I was going to tell you, no.
So
you eat sauce-pois, legumes, bon appetit. But no, that's a great question. Well, first and foremost, mucus is good for you. Okay. Let me just say that. There's something in our body called good mucus. All right? And the reason why we have good mucus, your saliva has it, your blood has it. It actually protects your cells, right? But it's a cleanser for your sinus ducts from any allergens. But what happens is when we start to get sick, like when we have the flu or the common cold or COVID, why do you think COVID was so big amongst people of color? Because we are filled with mucus. And so that's why so many of us were dying from it. And now people have COVID voice. Have you heard of COVID voice?
No.
Yes. A lot of people end up having vocal damage because of COVID and they can't recover from it.
Wow.
Because of that. So to answer your question, when you eat certain foods like, yes, dairy, but things like fatty meats, okay, chicken and pork and beef, and moderation is key. Because I eat chicken, right? But moderation is key. Or things like corn, sugary foods, fried foods, breaded, you know, things like that. What it does, it enhances the mucus in the body. And that causes something called histamine to rise. And when that rises, that causes inflammation and infection. So when you are dealing with buildup in mucus or post-nasal drip and stuff like that, you run to over the counter and you get an antihistamine called a decongestant, like a Flonase, a Zyrtec, a Claritin. But what happens is they eliminate the good mucus with the bad mucus and they dehydrate. So when you are taking that Flonase or that Zyrtec and you're like, yo, why is my throat so dry? It's because you're eliminating even the good mucus that's there to protect you.
Wow.
And so you want to make sure, and a lot of us are dealing with inflammation because of diet, the things that we're eating, the white rice, the white pasta, pasta, the white breads, the fast foods, things like that. And so we need to reverse it by doing more dark green leafy foods. We need to reverse it by doing more low fatty meats like fish, right? Lamb and turkey. We need to do a lot more water, coconut water, things like that.
Wow.
The things people don't like to eat.
Right, 100%.
Well, we need to balance it, okay?
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. And so let's talk a little bit about, business, your business now, right? Because I think that I could go on and on about getting, especially as a speaker and as somebody that knows that my voice is an asset.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm getting your ebook ASAP. But let's talk about your business, right? Like, how were you able to scale your business to multiple six figures?
Yeah.
Give us some of the things that worked for you.
So what happened to me was, the truth, I got drained. I was in so much demand. I was literally seeing about 40 to 50 clients in 4 days.
Wow.
One-to-ones. And I loved what I did, but I would get home and I would be so drained. Wow. And I'm like, yo, this can't be life. Right? And by the time I had already made six figures and stuff like that, but I was not doing systems.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing automation. And so I'm like, how can I can't be working like a dog like this.
Right.
And so I literally had to say, okay, how can I do less but make more money? And that's how I got into systems and automating. So what I started to do was, the first program I developed, I said, no, I need to train more vocal coaches because I needed to give vocal coaches to people, but there weren't any quality vocal coaches out there that I know would be able to, if I said, hey, I can't, I'm dealing with you over here. I need you to go see Ash because Ash has an upcoming engagement. I need to make sure that somebody I can trust can do that, right? Yeah. I just couldn't find people like that to do that. So I built a certification program where it was my first 90-day DIY certification program for speakers and singers, and especially during the pandemic. Why? Because a lot of singers didn't have work anymore. They couldn't tour.
Right. Yeah,
they couldn't do anything. And so a lot of people were struggling. And so, I took that and I said, no, I'm going to create an online course. And so I started certifying coaches, right? And then after that, I'm like, okay, but still, I need to do more. So with that, I started to say, I'm not doing any one-to-one anymore. I'm doing group coaching.
Yeah.
And so if you want access to me, you're going to have to pay more. So I doubled my price.
Right.
I doubled my price. And I think to the Neos and stuff like that, because I literally started saying, yo, I'm tired. I got bored making six figures. And I'm like, I'm tired of making six figures. So I had to go look to see the people that's making 8, 9, and 7. What are they doing?
Yeah.
And really and truly, that's what really got me to scale. It was me being bored of making six figures.
And it's, a couple of things I want to unpack. Like, a lot of people focus on six figures, and you could hustle your way to six figures. But to get to that next level, to get to 7, like you have to have systems. It has to be delegation. You have to hire people. Like, there's no way that you're gonna make 7 figures as a hustler. That's not possible. Like, you need a team, to build that. And so I love that you said, hey, I got bored. Like, I got bored with 6 figures, and I'm trying to figure out how I get to the next level. But the other thing I love, because I'm a book coach, right? And so I help, entrepreneurs, small business folks create 6 and 7 figure businesses from their book. And it's funny because that's one of the, there's 15 streams of income that you can make from your book. One of the things that I actually talk about is, creating a certification. And so for you to create a certification, which is just a genius idea, as anybody who's an expert at something who wants to scale to the next level, creating a certification program is such next level, and it's going to help you, because at the end of the day, not only are you allowing someone else to teach your philosophy and your expertise in the name of which, how you do it, and now they're spreading your word, now they're spreading your philosophy, now others kind of going to want, want to learn from the expert. And so I love that. But then the other thing I don't want anybody to miss is, when you create programs, it allows you to charge more for access to you.
Listen, one of the things that happened, I got my time back.
Yeah.
I got my time back.
100%.
And what happens is, how I got my time back, because as I created group coaching, and I created a Voice Masters Academy, then my coaches came and taught for me. So I just showed up just to do Q&A.
Yeah.
Right. I got my time back.
Yeah.
And so therefore it allowed me to double and triple my price for the people that want access to me. Right. And one of the plays that I definitely have is what I normally do is I just have my students and I have my coaches actually do all the testimonials because I don't have to do much about it. And so let me tell you something, scaling is the way to go. Yeah. And the way to do it is really truly about getting your time back by creating systems where you can still impact a whole bunch of people, but you can actually have people under you that's doing that too. And you said something about scaling and bringing a team. Yeah. That also caused me to scale too. When I hired my first operations manager and virtual assistants, right? And things like that. Like, it was like, whoa, wait a minute. Yeah. I don't have to do this by myself. Yeah. Because lots of times, can I be honest with you? 100%. We were never taught financial literacy.
Oh, never.
So we were taught, you go to school, get a 4-year degree, and I have degrees, right? But then you go work for somebody and you save up your money till you're 65 to just spend, 10 years to enjoy it? Right. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's just like, that's not life. Yeah, yeah. You know, but even in entrepreneurship, sometimes we feel we have to do it by ourselves. Yeah. And I realize there's a saying that says anything that is expandable, you have to share it. If you want it to go to the next level, you can't keep it to yourself. So you know one of the hacks that I'm doing right now? I'm gonna white label my curriculums.
Oh wait, that's too much. That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah, we want to go to the 8 and 9 figures? That's where to go. So I don't mind.
Wow. Wait, like she just blew my mind just now. So like that's too much. Take that out. Edit that out. No, I'm just playing. All right, so cool. So, now, so talk to me. So now where Shayla is right now.
Yeah.
If Shayla could go back and talk to her 18-year-old self, what advice is she giving 18-year-old Shayla?
Okay. First and foremost, take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. I would say that first. Yeah. I wouldn't even do a business or anything like that. I would just say that it's okay. Yeah. Like, you don't have to figure everything out so fast. Yeah. Yeah. Right? The second thing I would say is that mentorship is important. Yeah. Sit at the feet of people. Information is your net worth increases with your network. Yeah, and sometimes sitting at the feet of people sometimes could be just serving somebody. So for me, serve more. Like, don't have to always feel like you got to get in. No, you're going to be blessed and you're going to get an opportunity. So I would say that to my 18-year-old self. Yeah. I would say save, but I will also say invest because I'm in between old school and new school. Yeah. So my 18-year-old self back then was just like save. But if I would tell my 18-year-old self now, I would say save and invest. Right? Like, open up yourself to learning how to invest and finding ways of how to make your money work for you. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then I would say the last thing I would say is you got to make sure that you know your purpose. Yeah. What is your reason for being? Yeah. And I always say, this is how you find your purpose. Can I share it? And this is what I would say to my 18-year-old self and any 18-year-old that's out here that's trying to figure out, what do I do? I've been listening to these podcasts. What do I do? You find out first, what do you love to do? I want you to write it down on a piece of paper. What do you love to do? Okay. What are you good at? What can you get paid for? And how can you meet the needs of others? When what you love to do intersects with what you're good at, you may love to cook, but you may not be good at it. All right. So how do you know that you're good at it? When it's proven. Like, people say you're good at it. Right? That's your passion. Then whenever what you're good at, when it intersects with what you can get paid for, how you can make money, that's your profession. Right? And then when what you can make money from what you're good at, what you love to do and what you're good at, when it can meet the needs of others and you can create a payoff, that's your vocation. And that's a difference. There's a difference between your profession and your vocation. Profession says, I'm good at it. I can get paid for it. Vocation says, and even if I never make a dime, I'll still do it. Wow. Because I'm meeting the needs of others. And when you can meet the needs of others and it goes back to the fact that you love to do it, that's your mission. Wow. So when your passion intersects with your profession, intersects with your vocation, intersects with your mission, that's when you know that you are living in purpose. And that's why mentorship is so important, because mentors are the navigators. They're the GPS that can get you there. Yeah, yeah. And so I wish I had known that then. Yeah. That's what I would say to my 18-year-old self. Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what I'd say.
Wow. That was so powerful. Wow.
Yeah.
And so, What would you say is the most extravagant thing that you've done with money so far?
Well, I got a birthday gift.
Oh, that's nice. Nice. That is nice. Okay.
I believe in, making your money work for you, but I also believe in treating yourself. I've worked hard.
Yeah.
And so extravagant. You know what I want to do? Well, the extravagant therapy.
Yeah.
I know it might not be extravagant to everybody else, but it's extravagant to me. The fact that I can afford it.
Yeah.
And I can afford as many as I want to. Yeah. And I can afford the best of it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
100%.
I've never really been into materialistic things.
Yeah.
If I'm going to buy something, it has to make money for me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to invest my money.
Those things are back order too, so you already
if
know
I have to make money,
up.
it has to accrue for me.
100%.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a Rolex, matter of fact, for y'all. Just in case.
I think coming up, I want to do Maldives.
Okay.
I think that would be something that I'd like to do for myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what would you say is the most impactful thing you've done with money so far?
Mentorship. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah. No,
I believe in not just what I've invested in multiple mentorship programs. I think last year I spent $100K in mentorship.
Yeah.
But I made it back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah.
I'm at 125 this year so far. And we still early. All right, so we're gonna do a lightning round.
Yeah.
And so what we do is we take bank terms.
Oh Lord.
And we flip them for us because we're literally inside the vault.
Yes.
And so the first term we're gonna do is deposit slip.
Yeah.
Deposit slip. You take a slip. You write it down. Take it to the bank, and you put money in the bank.
Yeah.
For us, the deposit slip is a mistake, a money mistake, a slip up. Right.
Yeah.
What would you say has been your biggest deposit slip so far in your journey?
As far as me putting in?
Making mistakes. Your biggest money mistake. Yeah.
Allowing people to make too many withdrawals.
Okay.
Yeah, I had taken inventory.
Yeah.
For me. I look at the first 5 people in my phone.
Yeah.
And I determine, are they making more withdrawals? And so my biggest mistake is I allowed people to make too many withdrawals.
Wow.
And not enough deposits.
Wow. You flipped that. Right? Turn number 2 is a charge off, right?
Yeah.
And a charge off, you borrow money from the bank, you don't pay the money back. Eventually the bank is like, listen, we're going to try to get it back. But eventually like, all right, I'm going to charge this debt off, right?
Yeah.
For us inside the vault, a charge off is what type of people or mindsets did you have to charge off during your journey?
People that just first thinking.
Yeah.
And of course, the saying, if you hang around 4 people, you're going to be the 6th one.
100%,
and if you hang around, 5 millionaires, you'll be the 6th one.
Yeah.
And so for me, the charge off is I had to be able to understand that everybody just can't go with me. It is what it is. No hard feelings.
Yeah.
I still love you.
Yeah.
But where I'm going and where God has me going, you just can't come.
Yeah.
And I had to be okay with saying no.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, ATM, another teachable moment, right? When I tell y'all better rewind this, y'all better share this, y'all better rewind this and listen, because she dropped a lot of valuable gems, a lot of, like I'm telling you, like I'm gonna rewind it because there's some things that you said. So give us one more, right? Like when look at this camera, tell our people, give us one more teachable moment, something that they can walk away with that's gonna make their life better.
I want to say something. It may sound really, really simple, but it carries a lot of weight. And I want you to say to yourself right now, I need you to speak it out, because when you speak it out, it actually manifests, right? Your world is determined by your words. So I want you to say this: I am enough. I just want you to say that. Because when you say that, it cancels out every lie that was said about you. It cancels out even every lie you've thought about yourself. And lots of times they're just thoughts. They're not even real. There's a difference between truth and reality. See, your truth may be like, I don't have it, I don't have the resources, but you may have resourcefulness. And so at the end of the day, I want you to know that you are enough. And another thing, I want you to know that you're not too late, you're just on time. All right? Everyone has a place where they're learning things. And for you, this is the perfect moment for you to be where you need to be in this moment to get the things that you need in order to go to the next level. Stop looking at everyone else. I need you to know that you are enough. You're not late. You're right on time. Now, I just want you to breathe and just sit in that. Sit in it. You got to change the way you think it. And the first thing is you got to speak it so that you can be able to understand that is the reality. What you may think is the truth, what you see on Instagram and social media and stuff like that, or even what somebody said to you, is not it. But the reality is you are so dope and people are out here waiting for you to show up. So don't waste another show up. Don't waste another show up. When somebody asks you to come and speak, when somebody asks you to come and be in the room, even if it's not your platform, show up because you never know the blessing that's on the other side. And that's what I would say to somebody.
Normally I would yell it, but to preserve my voice, bars, gold bars. I enjoyed this so much. Thank you so much, Shayla. It was such an honor. Definitely we want everybody to check out the Vocal Blueprint. You guys can go to insidevocalblueprint.com. Please tell them, what they'll learn, from the Vocal Blueprint.
Absolutely. So from the Vocal Blueprint, you're going to learn first and foremost about the fact that I just said that you are enough. Your voice is enough, right? You're going to learn about what you need to do to not just monetize, but maximize and optimize your voice so that you can see it beyond just what you think it is. Learn how to treat it, maintain it, and then also learn how to monetize on it. Learn how to really understand that it is voice equity for you. Yeah. That really and truly it can accrue for you if you really learn to invest well into it. Yeah. So it's for anyone, any high-performing speaker or singer looking to secure the bag, ensure the voice, and ensure the gig. This book is for them.
Love it. All right, y'all. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault. If somebody wanted to connect with you online, where can they find you?
Absolutely. On all social media platforms at Ashaala Shanea. So the first three letters of Ash, and then AALA, so ASHAALASHANAE. You can find me on all digital platforms. And you can even go to ashaalashanea.live and also find everything about me there.
I love it. All right, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another powerful episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash. Make sure you like, share, review, subscribe to the podcast, right? I know, if you're watching the visual, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to it, you probably subscribed already, so go and rate and review it. But we appreciate you for tapping in. Make sure you visit us at InsideTheVaultShow.com. Also, follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at IamAshCash. And I'll see you next time for another powerful episode on the greatest money mindset show on the planet, Inside the Vault. I'll see you next time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.
Oh, yeah. You won't ask cash, you can catch it right here in the vault.